Live on set, this your boy Y-Dee, aka Serious Business, all the way from Dakar, Senegal, West Africa. We here in A-Town, okay, Atlanta, Georgia, shooting this documentary, Back to the Source, okay? American tour right now, we're doing it real big, with big people out here with Aaron Pitt. What's good, bro?
What's up, brother?
How you doing?
It's Pittman.
Pittman.
Yeah.
Aaron
yeah.
Pittman.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Not Pitbull, Pittman.
Right. Yeah.
Catch the name.
That's right. I'll take Pitbull's check though.
Word?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I'll take the check. Wouldn't you?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, a few million. I take his check. You know what I'm saying? That's just one of them. Yeah. So how's it going, brother?
Oh, good.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
man.
God. Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God. Because we've been on the road for so long, trying to put this together.
Okay.
Like, you know, it's not easy to have like every artist from different country, from different continent together all in one.
That's right.
And that's what we're aiming for. That's why we're here.
You're doing it globally.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
And this is just part one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So make sure I'm a part of part two.
No doubt. So real quick though, for those who don't know, can you just bring it back to where it all started for you?
I'm originally from the Midwest, and I moved to Atlanta probably about when I was 25, so about 23, 24 years ago. And I did a lot in the Midwest in terms of music and wanting to be in the music business.
Yeah.
But I just never felt that at that time it was getting, you know, its respect and its just due. Although a lot of people come out of the Midwest, you know, I just felt like my opportunities were slim based on where I was, you know, in life and part of the country, you know. So spoke to a couple friends of mine that I felt were successful, and we all know their names, but I'm not gonna mention their names right now. One of them is in big trouble, so I ain't gonna mention his name right now. But you know, he was one of the main ones that I spoke to, and asked him what did he do that I didn't do, and he said he kind of branched out, you know, outside of the Midwest, and that's when things really started happening for him. So I considered it, and then I had a death in the family. My close cousin got killed, and at his funeral, I just decided I was leaving the city, you know, leaving the Midwest and looking for something different. So I went to New York. It wasn't a good fit for me. I went to LA. It wasn't a good fit for me. Miami, it wasn't a good fit. Came to Atlanta, and I felt comfortable. I felt like a ease, you know what I'm saying? And long story short, so I loaded up the truck and moved to Atlanta and started pursuing my production career. And I ended up landing a job with the Brat. So I toured with the Brat and produced for her. I worked with her for about a little over 10 years, about 13 years. Yeah. So I got a lot of experiences from that. I've worked with Tricky Stewart, a production company called Noontime that had Jazzy Faye, Teddy Bishop, Anthony Dent, Donnie Scans, Brian Michael Cox, you know, Eric Roberson was coming in there writing, Jagged Edge. It was a whole one big family, you know, and everybody was just trying to get on, you know what I'm saying?
I know.
Yeah, even like with Akon, you know, I've
my man.
Yeah, I remember when Akon bought his first Mercedes, and he pulled up to the studio, and it, you know, it was I think it was a white CLK or something like that. I was like, oh yeah, he doing it. He's like, now he probably got a custom Mercedes. You know what I'm saying? But you know, so I just wanted to be in the area where I felt like people that look like me were making moves. You know what I'm saying? And that I can learn from, because although I was talented, I knew I didn't have the right connections or the real know-how or understanding, a level of understanding of the business, you know.
Great.
But I've always been a businessman, so.
That's what's up. Like, what was the music industry like back then comparing to now, after 40 plus years in hip hop?
So, I'll say this. I was born in 1971, so I kind of grew with hip hop, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, from the Sugar Hill Gang to, you know, listening to Blondie. A lot of people don't realize Blondie was one of the first big artists to have a rap in her song, you know. But of course, there were people that did similar styles, but it wasn't called hip hop or anything like that. But when, of course, we all know the history of what New York did for the world when it came to, hip hop and rap and the impact that it had, and people thought it was going to go away. And now, in my opinion, it's the heartbeat of everything. So. To watch it grow from just being something that's in the basement and in the alleys to become this quadrillion-dollar industry, it was amazing to watch.
Definitely.
So when I say I evolved with it, I watched it grow as I grew along with it. So the growing pains that hip hop had, I had those same growing pains, But I'm really excited to still be here and, in the land of the living, to be able to have this conversation with you and talk about, where hip hop has come from and where it is and where I think it's going to go,
Yeah, I mean, what was it like working with those different artists? Because it's not easy to be working with different artists who has different point of view, different personalities, different way, of managing.
Well, I'm gonna say this, not to cut you off.
Yeah.
I'm a people person. I've been in business for myself since I was a kid, probably about 8 or 9 years old.
Yeah.
And so I used to be a barber full time. I used to cut everybody's hair in the neighborhood, and then I had my own barber shop and stuff like that. So when you're the barber, you learn how to talk to people.
Yep.
You learn how to speak to people. You learn how to respect people because you want them to come and get their hair cut.
Yep, of course.
You know what I'm saying? So I developed a lot of friendships, and I learned my communication skills because internally, I was a social person, but I think my true fundamentals I learned from being a barber and just being an outgoing person and knowing how to, and plus my mother, she ruled with an iron fist. So she made me respect everybody. She made me demand respect, So did I answer your question? Because I felt like I got a little far off. Did I answer? I didn't? Tell me what you asked me again.
No, you didn't.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
The question is, what was it like working with those different artists?
Yeah.
With
That's where I knew
how
I
you
was
manage
trying to
this.
go.
It's not the same as the other one. So this is a solo artist. There is a crew, Jagged Edge, The Braid.
And, So that's where I was leading to. I guess I was saying that because I wanted to kind of segue into that.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with those different types of personalities, because they all are completely different,
Of course.
You have to be a people person to have great relationships with all of them.
That's great.
And I think, that with my fundamental development as a communicator and knowing how to communicate with people and learning the person that I'm, dealing with was my way of keeping good relationships. And when things happen that I could be a part of, they would call me, And not only that, I brought quality to the table. I didn't just, they just didn't have me there hanging out. I was actually bringing, something to the table. So I think that's important too. We could be friends all day, but if you're not bringing quality to the table, they're gonna call somebody else that's gonna bring quality to the table. So I wanted to be that person, that they called. And like I said, a lot of us at the time, we're still growing. The Brat had already had her successful career launched because, she started out as a child star, you know what I'm saying? But all of us as producers, singers, songwriters, and stuff like that, we were all kind of like, it seemed like we had similar backgrounds, similar stories, and we all kind of just morphed into this one area. And we were all just trying to, like I said, learn from each other, build our catalog and really just get to the point where we eat,
Definitely. If we look at hip hop today, after 40 plus years, every country from every continent has their own way of doing hip hop. Africa, America, Europe, even Asia. I can even say Canada. You know what I'm saying? So, trying to bring all those all those artists from different areas together on one platform called Back to the Source. What do you really think about that?
I think it's a great idea, and I think that it may and should be embraced more than what you really realize, because you know the genre is in need of us coming back together and going back to the basics and working together. So, and then, because I personally look at it as an opportunity to, you know, reach people that I may not have been able to reach on my own, you know. So hopefully everybody share my view, you know, about it, to make your well, you know, what you're trying to do, you know, come to life and really make the impact that you're trying to do.
Definitely. If we look at like the biggest record labels, from Sony to Universal to Motown, like even the TV station like BET, they all trying to have a license to go to Africa, like to build up like something that they already have in America, and talking about Africa is the future. Africa is the future. Everybody keeps saying that, like Africa is the future. On which aspect? How?
I'm sorry, what's your question?
Like the fact that all those major record labels are moving to Africa. Like Africa is the future. Africa is the future. Everybody keeps saying that. Even the artists, even like, you know, the promoters, like the investors, people that come to Africa to invest their money, no matter what type of business it is in. So, as a hip hopper, like I'm trying to understand why people really think that Africa is the future.
Why the sudden interest?
Yeah.
I think that, believe it or not, I think Africa has always been a topic of conversation. I think that now we have more opportunity and it's more accessible for us to get to. Whereas when I was coming up, going to Africa was like almost unheard of unless you were in the military or something. You know what I'm saying? So I think because the genre, you know, our race of people, you know, have gotten stronger, you know, more of us are wealthy and can do a lot of things. Understanding that, because I feel like Africa, in my opinion, I feel like Africa, speaking for myself, I feel like Africa is just untapped territory, you know? And in a lot of places, you have a lot of saturation, you know? And I think that they're just looking for another place to conquer. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, a lot of people look at that way. Look at it that way, though. You know, because I spoke to the vice president of Sony Music in Africa. His name is Mr. Da Silva, and that's the same exact thing he told me. Like we were just looking for a new place to conquer. You know?
Yeah, and you know, when you're doing that, it gives a lot of people in a heavily saturated environment the ability to become, you know, fathers of a movement. You know what I'm saying? Pioneers, that's the word I'm looking for. You know, and we all know that, you know, it's wealth in being a pioneer. You know, it can be. You know, if you know how to do it. You know.
Do you think that the language can be a barrier for the artist? Because
100%.
Yeah, but because back home, not to cut you off, back home, some artists, if they're trying to rap, for example, in English, and people look at them like, yo, man, this is where you're from. You should speak our national language instead of speaking English. We don't speak English in the country. You know what I'm saying? And everybody knows in the world how important English is. If I could speak English, I wouldn't be sitting here right now to talk to you guys.
That's right.
I wouldn't be able to travel around to try to make this documentary.
You'd have a translator.
Yeah, you got a translator, and you got to pay for that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a chance for me to be able to do it by myself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the question is, do you really think that the language can be a barrier?
Yeah, if you haven't been taught the language and you're going into untapped territory, I think it's smart for anybody to learn how to communicate, you know. I think that it's harder for Americans to adapt to it than the other way around because from what I think I know about it, every other country teach you English and, you know, their native tongue and English, but we don't get taught that like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have to, you know, you got to pay for an extra, you know, language basically, you know, and then the little stuff you learn in high school and grade school is, you know, it really don't teach you how to communicate for the most part. Yeah. I mean, it can. I ain't gonna say that because I know some people that kind of started from there, but you know, at the same time, I just feel like it's not forced the way I think it should for us to know how to communicate around the world. You know, because you know, you have those international schools that teach kids. One week they might be speaking, you know, English, next week they're speaking Spanish, next week they're speaking French, next week they're Italian and German, and you know what I'm saying? So I think that's important for us to kind of diversify, but you know, it just really depends on the person and how bad they want it. You know, I want it bad, so I'm gonna learn whatever your language is. You know.
Can you tell us, Aaron? Can you tell us about your biggest accomplishment?
Okay. You know, the way I measure success and accomplishments may be a little different from others because, you know, I started making money at a very young age. So what I think about success is a little different from, you know, some people when they feel like there's financial success, you know what I'm saying? And then there's personal goals. You know, I'm constantly setting personal goals. And I would say musically, one of my biggest successes to date is probably, you know, my first platinum record with Da Brat as a producer on her Unrestricted album. And then, you know, now being in a position where I have a major distribution deal, I have 2 labels, I have several labels signed to my entertainment group. I got a film company now. So I guess honestly my greatest success is having the level of understanding to be able to make it happen for myself and other people, you know, become that bridge for other people, you know what I'm saying? And help other people understand how the real money is made in the business, you know?
It's very important.
Yeah, it's very important, you know, because it's not just about, you know, buying cars and clothes and jewelry and stuff like that. It's not just about that. There's so much, you know, more into it, you know, but everybody has their place, you know. Sometimes our artist is not good in the office, you know. Sometimes the office person is not good on stage, you know. So everybody just have to learn what their strengths are, and you know, and you have somebody that can put all of those moving parts together to make it make sense. You could be successful. So that's how I look at success. That's how I look at my personal company, and that's how I look at anybody that I talk to. I try to figure out how we can partner, you know. Like anybody I do business with, I don't say that, oh, they work for me, or, you know, I call them my partners, you know, because without me or them, that relationship can't happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So everybody has their place. Everybody's important to me, no matter who they are. Yeah.
Great. Like the whole world is watching you right now. Do you have a message for them? Back to the source. How important that is for us to, you know, to all come together and have one voice, one message to the whole world at the same time on one platform.
Okay. I think Back to the Source is an awesome, you know, platform for not only myself but whoever gets involved, because it's pretty self-explanatory. It's back to the source of us, you know, working together for one common goal. You know, that way we can keep this idea alive. You know, because if we don't, before we know it, it'll get away from us. And what I can, you know, tell everybody that's watching me right now is watch me in 5 years and see where I am. You know, there's a lot of moving parts, like I said, to success, and I think I have a pretty good idea of what it's going to take, you know, to to maintain a relationship with Back to the Source, with anybody around the world, because I've partnered with people all over the world, so I'm all about that. So this was perfect for me.
What do you want everybody to know about Aaron that they don't know about?
I'm easily approachable. I'm pretty quiet when I'm out, you know what I'm saying? So people, really don't know how to take me for the most part. But I know how to work a crowd, you know what I'm saying? But some people think it's I'm not approachable, but I'm approachable. Anybody, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Great. But thank you. Like
from homeless to Hollywood. Appreciate you, brother.
That's a great move. From homeless to Hollywood.
From homeless to Hollywood. You know what I'm saying?
But one last question though before we get out of here. What is the most dangerous thing about this music industry? One word.
Egos.
Egos. I've been hearing that a lot.
You're gonna hear it more.
All right. Back to the source. Okay. Aaron is here. We in A-Town. Serious Business 2020, 2019. We got next. Be on the lookout for it. We're coming. All right. Salute.